Hello out there, everyone. My name is CV, and welcome to my channel, The Reconverted Catholic. Recently, I started a new idea for this channel called a short response to fill in the blank, faith-related topics, questions about Catholicism, challenges to it, about religion, spirituality in general, social-related topics, and there's no shortage of controversy right now, I know, out in the public space, and a little bit appears within the church too. But the purpose of these videos is to give my response to some of the challenges out there and, questions. And then hopefully these videos are a good resource for fellow Catholic Christians and, those exploring the Catholic faith. Now, the original idea was to have what I call a short response to, and then again, fill in the blank, subject. Though with this video today, it won't be quite a short response, won't be a super long one either, somewhere sort of in the middle, just to give, context and bring home the point. And that said, let's go ahead and dive into the topic here today, neurosciences versus free will. Okay, what does that mean? So I'm going to explain that here right now. So, as we know, many Catholics are aware of or have read a well-crafted encyclical letter by Pope John Paul II called Fides et Ratio, Faith and Reason. This document, now considered a staple in how the Catholic Church answers skeptics, some of whom view the subject as when worlds collide. Still, it's an effective primer for reconciling faith and reason. Yet with the surge of secular ideas in Western society, as well as approximately 17% of the U.S. alone identifying as neither spiritual nor religious, marrying faith and reason is still well unreasonable to a significant swath of people. In its place, scientism is making its own noise in the public arena, with atheists and agnostics adopting the scientific method as the be-all, end-all to testing just about anything that resembles a claim. Even despite that science, yes, the discipline that the Catholic Church helped move into modernity, science is about explaining the natural world and cosmos around us. Faith has been backed into a corner of extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Except that the catch is that moderately to highly skeptical atheists and agnostics rarely, if ever, accept evidence that hasn't been rigorously tested, peer-reviewed, and then turned into an established fact in the natural world, and that certainly has its place. But a new popular approach to pitting reason against faith, and thanks to the colossal double-edged sword called the internet, involves the now numerous armchair neuroscientists who have yet another mic drop critique that neuroscience disproves free will. Sam Harris, a well-known neuroscientist and referred to as a new atheist, has been quite vocal that science can explain not only the natural world, but also morality, free will, and metaphysical related matters. Not that there is an established credible science that correlates with some of Sam's perspectives. For instance, we know that the prefrontal cortex in the brain helps drive our moral compass. However, not all neuroscientists agree with Harris's using neuroscience to explain away philosophical and metaphysical topics. And many do not leap to saying that neuroscience has an, aha answer to free will versus brain function. The fundamental claim that atheists bring to Christian apologists, and for which atheists apparently think that they have the whole picture of information, is this. When the brain processes, as they put it, quote, electrical impulse, it has already made a decision. Therefore, we don't have any free will in our decision. I seriously do not know whether to laugh or cry when I hear this argument, as it leaves out a whole host of other factors. I will briefly get to those in a second. First, to give some more context, I just recently watched a discussion about neuroscience versus free will on Catholic Answers, the Catholic Answers channel. And though I love Catholic Answers, the conversation was a hodgepodge of discussing neuroscience and philosophy. Worse, the word neuroscience, and not just on Catholic Answers, is being tossed around these days as a catch-all for any psychology-related studies. Not that the term neuroscience is being misused altogether in explaining the studies. Neuroscience does involve the brain, after all. But it is more than time to clear up some of the misinformation. Namely, when a discussion involves neuroscience, it sure would be great to have, a neuroscientist present, or even one of the sub-disciplines of psychology that closely align with what neuroscience technically means. And spoiler alert, neuroscience is fundamentally about brain biomechanics. I know that's a little bit snarky, but that is, again, the fundamental definition of neuroscience. Now, while the more prominent Catholic apologists generally do a decent job of summarizing scientific studies, as well as pointing out flaws in atheist arguments, the conversation is frequently too muddied with philosophy, which frequently ends up as the bulk of the discussion anyway. It is first important that we all get our definition down about neuroscience and understand the biomechanics of it. And any speculation beyond how neurons, neurochemistry, brain hemispheres, and the senses, how they function, is just that, speculation. It's the same problem with many atheists who oversimplify consciousness. Let's all first establish exactly how the brain works before possibly, and I stress the word possibly, linking neuroscience to philosophical debates. For example, our senses are crucially key to just about all information the brain processes. Therefore, it is not so simple to leap to your brain already made the choice idea that atheists espouse. Moreover, the studies that both atheists and apologists usually refer to fall more into behaviorism and a bit into cognitive psychology. And finally, although it just so happens that I have an education in physiological psychology, which is heavily rooted in neuroscience, you're certainly welcome to do your own investigating. And if you do, it wouldn't be a bad idea to consult a neuroscientist directly on the matter. So I hope this video helped a bit today, clear up, again, what probably sounds like a pretty abstract topic, neuroscience versus free will, or kind of very ivory in the tower kind of conversation. Maybe sounds like limited to scholars and academics or what, but this is important for everybody, because although you may never be asked this question, it just depends, or, engage in this type of conversation, and you don't necessarily have to be an apologist to engage in these types of conversations. This information, I think, at the minimum at least, is a good primer to help some with the conversation, and understand that that scientism does not explain everything, and nor should it be the de facto system for explaining truth across the board, which I will save for another video for another time to go more into that. But in the meantime, again, I hope this information helped. Again, in understanding our brain function, and versus free will, that there are, again, a lot of factors to answering that question of, or understanding, our free will, and do we really have it or not? And, a bottom line is yes, we do, because there are other factors, again, in our brain processing and decision making based on that too. Feel free to leave comments in this video. Also, feel free to email me at trcatholic@gmail.com. Again, trcatholic@gmail.com. I'm planning on putting out more videos, short response or response videos here in the future. Hoping not to make these too controversial, or not looking to start fights necessarily, but clearly some topics I will post here may be a bit controversial, but love to hear your thoughts, and please feel free to participate in the conversation. That said, see you at the next video. Thanks.